Okay, hello. This is peculiar. Um, it is Thursday, because I can only record these on Thursdays for some reason. May 26th, the end of the world, 1983. At least it feels like it, and it's the second to last day of school, which I am at right now. I have no idea why we're outside. I'm not even sure if it's allowed, but I'm just out. And I don't want to be involved with breaking into cars and jumping off of the roof and stuff, so I'm over here. Instead of doing finals, of course. I'm not even, I have no idea if we are even allowed to do this, but I'm just a student, so I'm not allowed to question anything that goes around here, so. Anyway, me being sensible, I don't even know if you can hear this, but I don't want to. Oh, we're going in. Actually, I prefer going in because I don't sit here. That's great. Anyway, I'm probably going to continue this at home. But this is a nice little interlude of bullcrap. Alright, well, that was certainly an intro. Yes, I was at school. And it is currently the second to last day of school already. Thursday, May 26th, I already said this. Why am I recapping an intro? Makes the intro serve no purpose, but I'm doing it anyway. But yes, it is May 26th. Tomorrow is the last day of school in which we are not doing anything in any of our classes. So there really is no point in going to school, but if we just decide not to show up, that reflects on our attendance and means that we'll have to do like summer school or something. Dumb, but what can I do? Yeah. Anyway, since I never actually got to talking about anything that I wanted to talk about during the intro, because we left immediately after I started it. In the last one of these, I talked about the end of May, after the experiment had ended, but I was planning on, ramping it up, starting posting again in October. And the reason behind that was because, the original May 21st date, 2011, was because of, the whole, end of the world Harold Camping prediction, whatever. But it's funny because I researched it, and actually, after nothing happened on May 21st, the guy just decided, he's like, nah, I was off by 5 months. It's actually going to happen on October 21st. And so I'm like, okay, that gives me it ends on May 21st and it starts again on October 21st. So, that kind of worked, right? I'd say so. As much as, planning for my sake is. I'm just getting into this car because these mosquitoes are going to be loud. And oh my goodness, it is humid in here because I bet no one's been in this vehicle for 6 weeks. It is hot in here. This is a mistake, but I'm not changing anything. I just have to find a way to set this phone up to where it doesn't do anything. Okay. I'm behind the wheel. I'm driving. Look, I don't have my license yet, but this is a dumb angle. You know what? If I just sat in the seat beside me, I'm gonna do that. Shut up. This is so dumb. This has no purpose. But yeah, so I was planning on, getting the first, few things in late May, to just, that I was gonna plan on, because that first video that I talked about where I stood in the middle of a forest, a year ago tomorrow, that was, and talked about random stuff like donuts and whatever. That was gonna be like the first video posted in October. So yeah, but after May, because I took that video of me talking in front of whatever, and then I took the video of me talking in a chair at my grandparents' house, thanking someone that doesn't exist for their, like, wishing them happy birthday, that's the whole thing. But after that, obviously it's June, so June wasn't like a huge month for me. Like, the amount that I like took in April, because it was like mid, season or whatever, I took like tons of pictures every day, almost. But May, I didn't take that much, other than like on the 6th, the 15th, the 27th, and the 31st. Besides that, and the 21st, but besides that, it was just like maybe like one picture video a day. So not a whole bunch was taken in May. Not a whole bunch was taken in June either. Some was taken in July at the beginning, because we had like a whole vacation, and it was a huge thing. It was actually a big thing. So yeah, July had some big things at the beginning. August had a bunch, September had a bunch, and October had a bunch, and early November had a bunch, but June, it was the beginning. I wasn't really sure of what I was doing. Well, I was never really sure what I was doing, but it was like just like, how do I go? Because I said goodbye. I posted the goodbye video after like all the other ones of me on the balcony in Canyon Lake. So it was like, how do I come back from that, right? And I had the epilogue video, the one of just like the 5-minute video of the lightning storm from Canyon Lake, that I hadn't posted, but I was like, that was going to be like the epilogue video, and I was going to post sometime. But yeah, I was like wondering, how can I see it? And then, being as how the last 2 videos that I took were just me talking in front of a camera, I'm like, maybe commentary, maybe just a random commentary video. That'll be it. It's dumb, but it's a dumb idea, but I am doing it now. Don't know why this is just here, but it is. So yeah, June, what did I do? Okay. I vaguely, yeah, it's on the, because none of the pictures from June are on, like, physically on the computer. But I know I've mentioned it sometimes, like seen it a couple times when I was recording these, when I was looking through the computer, and I hit the tab or the Windows button, and then it shows the photos picture and flashes through a bunch of like photos. And then I noticed that like there were a few of them that weren't on the computer anymore, but they still showed in like the view. Like, do I really just want to walk inside and talk about that? I don't really, because I don't want to be obnoxious. That's why I'm outside in this car, sweating. Like the thing's obvious. Like, just go inside and show them what you mean. But no one's watching this anyway, so no one's actually going to care. So, yeah, one of those, I remember one of the pictures that was in like the little square. I'll probably just show them like real quick at the end of this or whatever. But one of them was a Lego set, because I know I'd already talked about building the Lego the Lego architecture Tokyo skyline. That was just, I did that on like April 5th. Okay. And then I just decided I might as well build a second one because I bought two, or at least I had two. I might have, I think they were for like my birthday or something, or Christmas or something. Same thing basically. Um, but it was also, it was like, I got Tokyo and then I got like Dubai, the Dubai Lego set. And I built the Dubai Lego set on June 5th. At least I'm mostly sure it was on June 5th. It might have been June 1st. But I'm almost certain it's June 5th that I built the Dubai Lego set. Um yeah, and I took a picture of that. I didn't take any videos of me building it. I took one picture of it completed on the desk. So, yeah, I think that was the only picture I took. It definitely was the only picture I took that day after the birthday video. And then June 6th, I want to say. I don't think it was either the 6th or the 7th. Whichever one was a Sunday. I can't check a calendar now because I'm in a car and there's a calendar on my phone. I'm not gonna. Yeah, whichever one. I'm pretty sure it was I'm pretty sure it was the 6th, but it could have been the 7th. I'm pretty sure it was the 6th. I did another video. All right. I except this time it wasn't me sitting in front of the camera talking. It was me walking through. It was me walking. We have a trail um, behind our house, kind of like where that shed that I was at the beginning of like this recording. Um, where I did like the re-explaining the intro. That little shed, there's an entrance to a trail that goes out and comes out like behind, like right out there by that well. Comes out behind the well. It's not even really a shortcut. It just kind of goes like our driveway goes like this, and then it just goes like that. I walked down that and talked about random stuff. Whatever like came to my mind. Because I was still being semi-random with my things, except I was frustrated for some reason. Because June is like Pride Month and whatever, and I'm gay, so I have to like be like, oh, no one in my area likes me. I'm angry, whatever. Like, the thing you've heard 1,000 billion times, but it was basically me talking about. It was like, and you couldn't even tell what it was talking about. It was just me like, and since we're unveiling, we could see these models increase sales exponentially. We could it was said in the speech that we could I was talking like business. I was talking about like a product and how like this product, this model or whatever would like, what was I talking about? Was I insane? I was insane. Kind of. I'm still insane. But what was I talking about? How does that relate to anything? I'm sweating. And since then I've learned that nothing will change. And at this point, my best bet is to get the heck out of the greenhouse. The greenhouse being this car, because it's like freaking 90 degrees. Anyway, this process started, instead of Pride Month, we're changing the gears a little. Like, that's corporate now. Pride Month has gone corporate, so like I don't like it. the new hip trend, the new hip model that I guess I was talking about was this thing called Spite Month, where I was just angry for the rest of the month. It's crazy. Mainly just because, again, I didn't have anything to do. So, yeah. And also, it's spite. Everything I do is an act of spite recently, or at least it was at that point, and it still kind of is now. Um, so yeah, but you couldn't tell because I was talking about like some new trendy. It's like we are proud to unveil our new like. Come on, what? What am I doing? What am I doing? I just hit my head with a. What is this? It's like a. I don't know what I'm looking at. Okay, well, anyway, this has like credit card information on it, so. Yeah. There's a headless Django Fett in here. There's his head. It comes off. Wow. This is random. So yeah, that process started Spite Month, which was a month-long thing in June, which I barely did anything. To be honest, because I didn't do anything in June, because nothing really happened in June. To be honest, June was just a month that nothing really happened in. Of course, like in lieu of the experiment, I didn't take a bunch of pictures. But what did end up happening, like behind the scenes, I know we went on the 10th. The 10th was a Thursday. Wait, if the 10th was a Thursday, because I know the 10th was a Thursday because June 11th was a Friday, and I binged like Tempest Universe and had an existential crisis afterwards, unrelated, but but that was June 11th. June 12th I know was Saturday because I'll get into that later. But June 10th was a Thursday because we went to Co-op and I didn't record anything there. But the 9th was a Wednesday. The 8th was a Tuesday. The 7th was a Monday. And the 6th was a Sunday. So I'm pretty sure that video of me talking about whatever the heck I wanted to, down as I was walking down through the woods, that was on the 6th. June 6th. Okay. Timeline activated. Except no one's watching this video, so no one cares. That's good. No one should care. This is a complete waste of anyone's time. And this is like episode 14. And each of these are like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour long. So, like, what are you doing? The only person who's going to rewatch these is me. So, again, I'm not actually talking about what I wanted to talk about. And this is just making the video longer. And it's just... Also, yes, this is the car that I screamed in while I put the camera on the roof and recorded me screaming. I was like, yeah, that's all you heard. That was like April 17th, whatever. I talked about it. June 12th. Again, we didn't record. I didn't record during the day. I'll get into it. All right. I promise I will. It was a church thing. All right. Am I ever gonna talk about it? No. No, I'm not. Obviously. It's already 18 minutes. I haven't said a thing except one thing. June 12th. It was a church organized event on the Saturday. At the bowling alley, the local bowling alley. I didn't take any pictures there at the bowling alley, but I had a donut there. Big big news. I one off, I mentioned donuts in the video I recorded on May 27th, and that became a thing. Okay? Yeah. So, yeah, we didn't really, I don't really remember what exactly happened there on June 12th. Um, but I know this, like, specifically because, I don't know, just, I talked to you about how I, like, listened to, like, the first time that I listen to any sort of like music that I haven't heard before, it has to be like I have to be doing something specific. Like I can't, like, to me, just sitting in my room, I'm like, oh, I want to listen to this. I'm just gonna listen to this album. Like, no. Apparently, me, I can't do that. I have to be like doing something unique. Like with Godspeed You Black Emperor, I was on the beach for Skinny Fists. I was where was I for Yankee? I was at Trade Day on the town square in October for Yankee. I was on my front porch watching the sunrise on New Year's Day um, for Slow Riot, and for Alleluia, I was on the balcony at Canyon Lake. And the rest of those I'll talk about because I did eventually listen to the rest of those throughout the year, throughout the experiment. Not on June 12th, though, because on June 12th, I decided it's like, I might as well listen to whoever looks interesting. And so I listened to Avicii, or Avicii, or whatever, however you pronounce it, and just to see what the hype was. I know, he's not around anymore. Rest in peace. He did make good music. But I listened to like his collection of like pre-2013 singles, and I'm like, these are pretty good. I might as well listen to the rest of them throughout the next week. So that's what I did. So I listened to his like pre-2013 singles and like tracks and mixes and whatever on June 12th. At the bowling alley, and on the way home from the bowling alley, and at home, from the bowling alley. That didn't really affect the experiment at all, but that did like start my whole like week-long binge of Avicii. I'm just gonna pronounce it like that because I haven't heard anyone pronounce it. I haven't heard anyone say it, so I don't care. It's like, he just made good music, alright? And I'm pretty sure he was a great guy. I don't know. Talking about a dead person is weird, but this wasn't supposed to be like this. Okay. June 13th. In the early morning, like June 12th, June 13th, 1 a.m. Alright? Couldn't sleep. It was either because of the insomnia or the fact that, like, what's something like outrageous? I was up until 1 in the morning, hacking the NSA. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then my internet went out, so I was mad that okay. Basically, it being Spite Month and all, I was very just angry and like frustrated at 1 in the morning. So me being me, I'm like, this is the perfect time to record a video, right? So I took a picture, and this is another one of the pictures that's on the whole like camera thing that's not on the computer, but it still like shows up on the computer thing. It's of a whiteboard. I know there are 2 whiteboard pictures on there. For some reason, they're both like there's the Lego set, there's the one whiteboard, there's the other whiteboard, and those are the only two whiteboard pictures I'd taken at that moment, which is weird how they both were on the camera thing. Like, you could have picked literally any other picture, but that's crazy. Yeah. And so this video was kind of another ramble where I went from one thing to another, because the last two was me talking about one specific thing, like the birthday and the random product announcement, the visionary models, whatever I was talking about. And this time I was just talking for the sake of talking. So the shed behind our house that I can't currently see from here because it's like the direct opposite side of the house, there's an insulated room because that's where my parents roast their coffee for their coffee business, which kind of drags me through all the coffee stuff, which I don't care for at all. But I use that room to just record in because it's away from the house, so no one's going to hear me just randomly talking in the middle of the night. You know, I'm not even supposed to be awake up in the middle of the night, and the fact that, you know, the only reason I wouldn't be talking is if the internet worked. Or did I get my like phone taken away and I was just mad that I couldn't watch Germa at night. Can't remember what I know I started it by like saying like saying good morning, because it was technically morning. Good morning, my like beautiful bastards or whatever. I forgot what I said. Some like funny quip. 25:34. Okay. Probably gonna be longer with that added video. Well, granted, I don't know how long this is gonna be. If I can ever get around to talking about it, I always do this. This is terrible. I'm terrible at talking things because I always go off on different tangents. But on June 13th in the morning, I started it, but with some funny little intro. I said, it is actually morning, although you can't see anything in this video, and the video was completely dark. You can't see anything in this video because the sun hasn't risen yet. That was true. You could hear the fan in like the background doing whatever. I think I messed with it to make it sound a certain way, or maybe I don't know. I forgot. I said I did have a donut today. Technically, though, it wasn't today because it's the morning, you know, after midnight. But I said that I honestly, for the life of me, I can't remember what I talked about, like what the main like points of that were. I think it was me planning. Oh yes, it was that video was the start of stage 3. And that's a crazy thing to think about, because like, wait a minute, aren't you just doing stage 2? Aren't you like, didn't you just like end stage 1, so you're like starting stage 2 or whatever, and that's what the other videos were? Yes, technically, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So, you know, stage 3 was going to be like an offshoot thing of unlisted videos only viewable from a playlist, because they were a little more like heavier or whatever, or not heavier, but like the ones where I was just mad and I swore in them and stuff. But that was the beginning of it, and that was me planning. Basically, the whole thing was me talking about the greenhouse being my property or whatever, and like, well, it was me planning an escape, you know, because the whole first thing was me, you know, was a thing about how I didn't want to be where I live. I didn't want to be here anymore, and that's still kind of true. What am I doing with my hands? But the but the stage 2 is basically like, I gotta get out of here. I can't stand this place. I'm leaving. That was stage 2. That was gonna be like, it was a theme, a recurring theme in stage 1, but that was gonna be like the main thing in stage 2, was the fact that I hate where I live. Still kind of do. But I was planning an escape. I was talking about the perimeter and like guards, even though there are no guards on my property, obviously. Um, I think I was talking about like, oh well, these people have dogs. That's not gonna be good. Oh well, something like explaining like the aspects of like planning the perfect escape, essentially. Like, I could go at this time, but I need to gather supplies and whatever. It's like, I gotta get out of here. That was the main theme. I can't think of anything else, but I remember that's what I was talking about. And what was on the whiteboard in that one picture was exactly that. It was a bunch of. See, if I took a picture, of it, you'd understand. But that's in the computer over there, so I'm not gonna go there just yet. Maybe. Yeah. So the 13th was actually a Sunday, which meant that I had to get up early anyway. So, like, fall asleep at like 2 or whatever, and then wake up at 6. So that was great. That was great. But I listened to Avicii's album True on the way home on the 13th. Didn't take any more pictures, I don't think, throughout the entire rest of the week. So yeah. I listened to, the singles and whatever on the 12th. I listened to True on the 13th on the way home from church, which is just a weird. I listen to a lot of things on the way home from church because that's like the only place I go. And I have to be driving when I listen to music because, like, just sitting somewhere and listening to music is just boring. I can't do that. On the 15th, because that was a Tuesday, I went to Civil War Patrol, which was like an hour-long drive. I listened to stories on the drive there and on like a little way on the way back. That was a good album. Both of them were, pretty good. I was into them at the time, and still kind of am. It's good music. His, and then I listened to like his one like EP. I forget, it was like a self-titled EP maybe, on the 17th, because on the 17th our parents had a conference on the 17th through like the 19th or whatever, or the 18th or whatever. And we wouldn't be able to like just stay home and whatever, so we went to our grandparents' house for those, like, through the 17th through the 19th. Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah. So on the 17th, it's crazy. It's actually crazy because on the 17th I listened to the EP, and it was like just long enough to where I could listen to Wake Me Up, and then listen to the entire EP on the drive there, and like have the EP finish, because I was very particular about that. But once I got to my grandparents' house, they were watching like Fox News, or not Fox News, whatever local city news was on, and for one of their intros, for one of their segments, they played Wake Me Up, or like the main like EDM beat of Wake Me Up, and I'm like, wait a here. And I thought that was funny for like a minute. I did bring my camera, Did I? No, I didn't, because I took the next video on my phone. Right. It was, the next video I took was, also, I can't remember what day it was. I'm pretty sure it was on the 20th. You know, that being a Sunday. A week after the 13th when I listened to True. It was the day that I listened to his last album, Tim, it was called, that was released after his death. I listened to that on June 20th. I think it was that Sunday. It might have been the 21st, that Monday, but again, a lot of these days I have no like record of making them because all the pictures have been deleted, but I'm going off of my mind. This is why I'm recording it, so I can just get this on here, so I just don't like go full caretaker mode and forget everything. But this is the last thing I'll talk about. On the 18th, like in the evening, or no. Can I just talk, please? Can I just let myself talk? The end of school is tomorrow. Then I'll have to get a job. Then I'll have to work to pay off money. Then I'll have to drive somewhere. What am I doing? I'm just procrastinating at this point. So, the 18th, in the early morning, like the 17th turning to the 18th, the 18th at like 2 in the morning, I took a 38, or was it 28? Something, a long video, a very long video. That obviously it wasn't taken on my camera, because if it was taken on my camera, it would have immediately ended after 20 minutes, because that's how the setting was, and I couldn't figure out how to change that. So it was long. It was the first real video I took of stage 3, which was all stage 3 was me sneaking out and just walking to places in the middle of the night, just like down the road in the middle of the night, like with the flashlight, being all like edgy and like making like trying to be funny, trying to be like edgy, badass, cool person, you know, out of like, it was useless, complete waste of sleep, actually, because I waited till like 3 in the morning to record some of them, and it was like, come on, dude, why? But since it was my grandparents' house, it's very easy to sneak out of their house at night. To dissect everything that I said in that video, I'll tell you how I categorize these things. Because I was planning on the Out on the Town series, which is what these like stage 3 style of me sneaking out videos were called. These videos were the only ones that I was planning on not releasing in chronological order. All right. So even though the first technical one of those was on June 18th, it would only be like the third. It would be like the third in the playlist in the order. So yeah. What's he doing? I don't know. Okay, it's very hot in here. He's up a tree. This cat is up a tree. You see him? He's up in there. He's up in there. I don't know if you can even see that. This phone is fat. This phone is hot. Apparently my brain is, because I'm messing up in English again. Even though I made a 97 average in my English class. So anyway, what I talked about, I set the basis up, but I kind of did it in like an offhand way. because it was the first video that I recorded of this. I technically wasn't really planning on making a series until like during I was making it. It was called Out on the Town because I said, "Good morning, all." Like at the beginning when I was just walking down the road in the middle of the night, you couldn't see anything. You couldn't see anything in most of the video, so I said, "Good morning, all. It's me, out on the town." You know, just me marking my territory, something cringe. Because I was like, nothing can hurt me in the middle of the night, even though, that's when crimes happen. Nothing can happen to me because I'm being edgy, right? So, yeah. Not going to be in there anymore. And I categorized that place, my grandparents' house, or at least the road from my grandparents' house. That was location B or location 2. I used letters and numbers interchangeably. Because this is my actual property, the greenhouse as it's called. Although the greenhouse is the entire town, I guess. I just walked through a spiderweb. See, walking through spiderwebs was a huge thing too. Although that was in August. So yes, episode 3 of Out on the Town was going to be me at location 2, my grandparents' house. And it was basically the first time that I would be showing that neighborhood. So I basically recorded myself walking down the road and kind of like this, except it was, my grandparents' road. The one you'll see in maybe if I ever make something out of it, this other thing that I'm doing, kind of, maybe, sort of. I talked about kind of the places. Can't remember, I still can't remember what I said. I do remember that I mentioned how the 80s was not as good as it was because, it was all my parents' friends grew up there in the 80s. And now everyone that lives there is just old people. So, I was like, man, everyone here misses the 80s, but they're probably just missing it through the rose tinted glasses of AIDS and whatever. I don't remember what I said. So I went down. How far did I go? I can't remember. I think I went all the way down to the end of the... No, because I said I wanted to do a delivery. I do remember this. I wanted to do a delivery, which was just write something cryptic, non-threatening, but something cryptic on a piece of paper and then put it in someone's mailbox. That was my idea of a prank. I wasn't that video would be unlisted because I knew that my parents did have the opportunity to see my channel, and if they saw that video, they'd be asking a lot of questions. So that was a video I'd plan on unlisting, but adding to a public playlist. Because, my parents wouldn't figure out that, right? They watch YouTube on a TV. So, yeah. That and, oh yeah, because I actually recorded myself. The video was so long because I walked to one area and then I recorded myself walking back, which I don't normally do, but it did happen. Yeah, so on the way back, even despite the fact that it was 2:30 in the morning or whatever, someone did end up driving past. I'm pretty sure they saw me, and even though I was the least threatening person ever, a skinny white kid with a camera in the middle of the night, that's a weird thing to see on the side of the road, but not threatening, right? Unless I looked drugged out of my mind. I probably did, honestly. Who in their right mind would do that? But especially considering how once I saw that there was a car, I'm like, I was talking about like, oh yeah, this is something. It's like, oh, someone's coming, and then I immediately like ran, like I sprinted. And while I was sprinting, I turned my flashlight on, so they definitely saw me and were like, "What the heck?" But I hid behind one. I went like kind of onto one driveway and like hid behind a pillar because they were rich. They had these like pillars on along their driveway, so I just hid behind one of them and I watched them very slowly. I almost thought that they were gonna just drive past, or I thought they were gonna like stop and be like, "What?" But no, they just drove past. Yeah, that was, and then I just walked back and I hung out at the pool that had just been built, that previous late May. On May 31st was the day that we set up the pool. So, yep, that was June 18th. I didn't record any more until the 25th. Again, but that video was taken on my phone because it was like 38 minutes long or something longer than 20 minutes. Okay, this is the first, this is what I was talking about. This picture is of the whiteboard. This was the one that was taken on June 13th in the very early morning at like 1:45 a.m. You can see on it, it was basically, I drew a bunch of things, like the circular kind of things you can see are just like, are like escape plans. Like I drew the house in the center and that was kind of like the perimeter. I made up some like weird numbers, did some weird math to just make numbers look cooler. Again, I don't know how this picture ended up on the thing still, even though it was deleted. That's just the OneDrive thing or whatever. Maybe it's still there. Hell, I can't find it though. I have looked. The stacks of numbers and stuff that you can kind of see at the top of the thing, I think that's like this thing I made up with like Vagrant Holiday or whatever. It could have been that, because I know that I was binging Vagrant Holiday too, and that's what Out on the Town thing was just me cosplaying as him, because I thought I was edgy too. I'm definitely not. That had no relevance to that. That was just a bunch of weird numbers that would look cool on a whiteboard. The crossed out things you can kind of see in the center of the whiteboard, I think those were like names? Maybe. Not quite sure. To the very far right on the thing, you can kind of see another list of numbers. That was me counting like the days. Where it was like May 7th was a like Friday. The 8th was a Sunday or Saturday, and the 9th was a Sunday. It was me counting like the day, like the actual days of the week, up until May 21st, you know, that kind of thing. And then at the very bottom, you can see the word like October or 21st October. Obviously, that's when I was planning on starting it. That's when the whatever would happen. Yeah, I know. But underneath that, you can see November 15th, which is the end date of the experiment filming. Again, I did say that was the day that I ended it prematurely, even though that was supposed to be the end of it. But we'll just say that I finished filming everything, and I never stopped, and I never posted anything from this period. That's why I'm probably not going to go to the computer after this, because there are no pictures, there is no evidence of anything after June, or after May, for that matter, on my computer. Okay, that's this picture. I'll explain the other one, which is literally just this picture of the Lego Dubai set, which I built on June 5th. I probably should have started talking about this one first, but you know what? I don't care. I don't really care that much, so that's this picture. This is the Lego set. This is the picture I took on June 5th after I made it. Did I say June 1st? I don't know. I don't care. That's that. That was the other one was the whiteboard I took on June 13th. Have a great day. I'm ending this recording.